name is Glen. I graduated Youth for Tomorrow in February of 2020.
Glenn, how do you feel when you come back here? It hasn't been that long since you were here, but describe your emotions when you drove in.
Almost a flashback feeling, you know, all the good times, bad times, stressed out times, times where I was working on myself. It seems like it all came back at once because when you leave here, it's in the back of your mind, but you're not really thinking every day of the experiences you had. So it was a good feeling to pull
We're going
back
to talk
on
about what you're doing now in a moment. Go back to how this place was brought into your life. Describe the scenario that brought you here.
I was sent here from Santa Clara County, California, originally from San Jose, California. Got myself mixed in with the wrong crowd, committed some crimes I shouldn't have. I did a year in juvenile hall before coming out here. Like I said, get in with the wrong crowd, letting God slip from my vision, you know.
It's a long way from home for you.
Yes,
What
sir.
were your first impressions when you came here?
To be honest, I never even really heard what was in Virginia. So it was a culture shock. California's a lot more fast-paced, I'd say. So, but I think that was good because it gave me the space to change, you know, change my environment.
What were some of the adjustments you had to make when you came here? Again, understanding that you had to travel 3,000 miles to get here, we get that, but what are some of the things that challenged you when you first got here?
My mindset. You know, growing up, I was always kind of a loner, but you know, I don't have anybody on the East Coast. I didn't get visits every week. I didn't get, you know, things like that. So it was definitely harder being by myself a lot more, but it allowed me to change my mindset. I still had my temper. That was my biggest issue while I was here, but it gave me the room to work on it, to really assess myself and get to know myself.
What was your evolution like when you're here? Some people here that are obviously still here. Some of the staff here, I'm sure, helped you. Could you talk about some of the folks that helped you take care of what you needed to take care of?
I'll give a staff, for example. His name's Mr. Reynolds. We did a Bible study every morning, and it wasn't anything planned. It wasn't anything we had to do. It was just he helped me get closer to God in my, you know, my walk and my journey. You know, I gave my life to Christ for the first time with him. You know, he was just a staff that was. He didn't want to see me fail, and when I did, he wouldn't get mad at me to get disappointed. So it was like a fatherly figure almost.
Would you say the spiritual side of your time in Youth for Tomorrow was the most beneficial to you, or am I making an assumption there?
No, it was. I don't think Youth for Tomorrow would be as great as it is if it wasn't for its spiritual side. If it wasn't for their love of God or their commitment to the youth through God, you know.
And in terms of the campus, how did you see those around you experiencing the same things that you were? I mean, everybody's a different individual, and you had your own things you needed to take care of.
Yeah.
But did you bond with a lot of the folks here?
I made some really good friends, brothers, sisters. You know, I still talk to a lot of them. But when you're here, you can't make friends. You can't really, you know. I mean, that sounds wrong when I say it, but you can make friends, but you're here to work on yourself. You're here to really focus, really dig deep, because I mean, life's not a game. It might seem fun for now, but you know, you have to prepare yourself for a job, paying rent, you know, paying everything, all your bills on time, things like that, and you don't have time to really, I guess, make friends and mess around is what I'm trying to say. You don't have time to do that. So.
Did you learn those things here?
Yes.
And upon graduation from Youth for Tomorrow, a lot of folks have told us that they really didn't realize what this was going to mean to them until after they left. Is that true for you as well?
I had that feeling, especially when I was in my low points at Youth for Tomorrow. I didn't. I was constantly stressed, and when my anger would flare, I'd be like, you know, this place is worthless. I don't need it. I could do without it. Things like that. But then, as I come to, especially when I left, you see the blessings when you don't have them. And that's definitely what Youth for Tomorrow was.
Tell us about your journey since you've left Youth for Tomorrow.
It was difficult at first because, like, I was here for 18 months, institutionalized for 2.5 to 3 years. So I went from people telling me what to do every day to, you know, you got to do that yourself. I had to get my own car, my own job. I didn't have anybody on the East Coast, so I had to get it all for myself at first. And then thankfully, when I was low, my father actually ended up moving out here to help me, and he ended up retiring, and that's how he helped me, by coming out here.
You're currently working on a vocation. Could you talk about that?
Yes, I'm working on my barber's license through an apprenticeship program in the state of Virginia.
I do know barbers become pretty close friends of yours when you're getting your hair cut. And I know that you're actually participating and you're moving up the chain in terms of what you got to do to get your license. But do you like the interaction with people? What do you know? It's a lot of folks use their barber as their psychiatrist.
Right. We have a saying in being a barber, just come to your barber because we're a lot cheaper than a therapist.
That's right.
And so it's definitely, like I said, like how I used to be a loner, it was hard for me to open up to people. I hid behind my emotions, put a shell up around, didn't want anybody to talk to me, don't come to me, I'm by myself type attitude. But you can't do that as a barber. You have to talk to people, you have to be open, you have to get to know this person, read this person, what they like, things like that. So it definitely, opened up my eyes to it's okay to talk to people, it's okay to be open with everybody, especially in your career. You have to be professional first.
It strikes me from what you're telling me that is almost a good path for you, the perfect path for you to be involved with the public, to be meeting people,
Right.
and to kind of interact with them because you have a lot to offer.
Right.
And what does the future hold for you?
My dream is to own my own barbershop one day. My goal is to have that done by I'm 30. But overall, I just live my life, in the eyes of God, trying to make sure I do right for Him.
Anybody else here you wanna commend for the work they have done? A lot of folks think very highly of you here. I can tell you that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Spates, Dr. Jones, Dr. Tinsley, Pastor Hub, the main, influential men that were here while I was here. Mr. Spates was house coordinator at the time. Now he's a big shot in the suit, but at the time he was our house coordinator, our house father, and he really put the father in house father. So.
Finally, how would you advise kids who might find themselves in the same position as you? We kind of want to maybe look at something you've learned here, and obviously coming from where you've come from, that's a long way from home, but you've made this home for you, and this has become part of your home. Youth for Tomorrow has become a home away from home for you. What advice would you give kids who might find themselves in your position?
Keep your head as straight as you can. It'll never be easy. It'll never just wake up and have it figured out, but there's going to be more bad temptations than good ones, and so just look for the good ones and keep your head on.